5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to the Heathen's Guide to Life, a show with this opinionated jerk.
I'm his little brother.
Give our take on how to live your best life. I am K. Ibn Latif.
What's up, world? I'm Kayla Sean.
Thank you for tuning in. You are in for an interesting ride today. The word heathen in this universe called the Heathen's Guide to Life is actually an endearing term. A heathen is someone who lives their life unapologetically according to a belief system and a code of conduct that works for and makes sense to them, irrespective of what others might think or feel.
Yes, and make sure you check us out at our website, theheathensguide.com, for your one-stop shop for all things heathen. You can find a full archive of our shows as well as our line of t-shirts. The titles are Heathen, our signature, Curate Your Squad, Live Unapologetically, Love Unapologetically, and my brother's favorite, Fuckboys will be Fuckboys.
You can also connect with us on Mixcloud, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So search for The Heathen's Guide to Life and follow and subscribe. And while you're at it, leave a comment and share with your network. Marmy.
Hello.
Hi. So this is our last episode of the season.
Yeah.
And what you got going on?
I don't know. Not much. Being a bad bitch. Like, I'm actually, I don't know. Nothing much. It's been like one of those weeks where I've been doing a whole bunch of nothing. So.
Oh, I love those weeks.
Yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun. Been getting my house in order when I feel like it.
I know that's right.
You know. How have you been?
I have been exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a really easy week.
Right.
I mean, I did way too much last weekend. Between going to Tyler Perry's play, between going to Candy's dungeon tour,
Child.
between whatever else I did the weekend, I was like wiped out. So I look forward to not doing a whole lot this lovely holiday weekend. And like during the week, I just had a regular, nothing out the ordinary. Like it was pretty basic.
It's something about when you have a 3-day weekend coming up, you just want the week to just hurry up. Just like, can we just get over this week already so I can chill? And it's gonna be so nice this weekend.
I mean, I usually cram so much into my life in a week that like I look forward to the times when I don't have a lot going on. I'm about to like have an explosion in my schedule. Like I'm going to New Orleans next weekend. I come back and fly right into DC for my niece's graduation. I come back home for a couple of days, and then I go down to Miami for like 10 days, and then it's just like a whirlwind for a while.
You're about to be jet setting.
Well, you know, life,
The
gigs and
life
stuff
of a rock star.
and fun. So you know, I look forward to the quiet right now.
Yeah.
So that's really that. You know, this is, like I said before, this is our last show of season 2. And we have a lot to reflect on and celebrate and talk about. And so I want to really get into it. But as always before, Kamar, what the fuck else do you have to say?
Absolutely nothing.
Yay! So, you know, I like to really just always keep in mind where we've come from. So I actually listened to our very first episode of season 1 the other day.
Oh
and
gosh,
wow.
why did you do that to yourself?
Because it's important to see where you've come. And for as entertaining as the first episode was, it was so green.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was doing something that I was so green. But like just the production value, the show itself, our comfort on the mic, you know, we've really come a long way, and I really appreciate the journey that we've been on together, and along with the listeners who have been listening the whole time, all the new listeners that have come along the way.
Guys.
And this is really good.
Yeah.
So for this particular finale episode, we're gonna just talk about this season. We did 20 episodes total, and you know, we covered a lot of ground. We bore a lot of our souls and our business and all that.
It was a very personal season.
But you know, I think the strength of this show, without even not being in it, but just as a listener, I think the strength of our show is that we're so personal, and that it's really this is really about our life and the lives that we live and how we live it and why we live it. And, you know, the life of a heathen is not an easy one.
Yeah, and you know, also, I don't know if the listeners are aware, but our lives are so jam-packed with, you know, craziness. We don't get to spend a lot of time with each other. So it's been helpful to have an anchor in our relationship where if I don't get to talk to you all week, I'll get to see you on taping day.
I got 3 months off from this motherfucker.
Yeah, what are you going to do with yourself?
Oh, so much, so much, so much.
It's fun, and it just gives me, you know, it's like time with my big brother on the mic. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. And this is our genuine kind of how we go at it, which is hilarious.
Shady self.
I am.
You are.
I am.
I'm so
really
glad
am.
you own that.
I own all parts of I own my shade. I own my wit and charm.
Lots of wit.
I own my assholishness. I
So
own
much.
my occasional selfishness.
Occasional.
I own my opinionatedness.
Oh,
I own
a jerk.
I own my judgmentalness.
Do you really? Because sometimes you kind of act like
You know,
you're
because
not
you
judgmental.
refuse to look at the definition of opinion and judgment.
I think you read it out loud before, and they were very much the same.
I am very in tune to words and their meaning, and to opine is different than to judge.
You can't define the word judge without using the word opine.
To,
I think it's literally in the definition.
literally, I will say it again for the people who don't want to listen, i.e. Kamar. To opine is to offer your viewpoint of something. To judge is to render something right or wrong. That's the simple difference. I don't always call things right or wrong, but I got something to say about a whole lot of shit. And I'm gonna start by having something to say about our show. So we started off.
That's a lovely segue.
Don't you love a segue?
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna start off with the first episode of the season, which was called "The Heathen's Guide to Dating," and it was cool because this was I had just come out this kind of new way of thinking about life, and this revelation that I can really have what I want if I just ask for it, and I'm just honest about it. And I've really been thinking about dating because I'm taking it very seriously now. You know, I am in the market for a relationship. If and only if, when and only when the right person comes along that suits my needs in a way that I don't have to compromise. Because I am not going to compromise who I am at my core. And I think that we're always taught and reared and cajoled into compromising and being the kind of person that we think that the object of our desire wants, versus being who the fuck we are and then attracting the object of our desire based on that.
Yeah, I like that episode because there was a point where you brought up a point about just being yourself versus being your representative.
Yeah.
And that was transformational for me because at the end, I was like, yeah, I think sometimes we do try to project who we want to be as opposed to that person that we are when we just go to bed and nobody's around. So, yeah, but I still like my representative better. So I sent him. Yeah, I sent him. But now I know the difference.
But Kamar, the person that you are is quite dynamic and a lot and complex and, you know, not always sensical. And so I understand.
Wait, bitch, was that a read? Like, the tone felt very safe.
No.
So I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. When I listened, I was like, oh.
I would say that I would use those exact same terms for myself, right? And so because of that, sometimes you want to like really offer the most easiest, most like digestible part of yourself for people just to kind of get them in. But I have found based on my experience that I have nothing to lose by giving you who the fuck I am in the beginning and then giving you the choice to see if you want to go along for the ride.
Let me tell you why that is key right there. Because in the past, I have had times when I sent that representative and they loved it. They ate it all up. Because I didn't want them, I was like, this is too much to put on them right away.
Right.
I want to just like, you know, get the men, lock them in, and then, you know, swoop down. But it's a waste of time because once they find out who you really are, and if they want to stay based on who you was before that, it's like, it's a conflict. Because they're like, oh, I put too much time in this relationship, or oh, you know, I'm in love now, or whatever. And
they fell in love with the person that you presented, not the person that you are at your core.
It's like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Get them, but can you keep them?
Yeah. So the main takeaway that I took from that is that you can have what it is you want. You can design the relationship that you want, but in order to do so, you have to be clear and upfront about who you are and what you want, and not waver on the core aspects of yourself that you know those needs have to be met, or else there's no harmony in the relationship. So that was that. So then up to season 2, then up to episode 2, we went into the principles of pleasure, where we welcomed our first guests of the season, Tamika and Chike. I had a wonderful conversation with the 4 of us about, you know, in essence, it kind of started off about how we shape our sexual identity based on like perception. And the main takeaway that I got from it is that we really govern ourselves. Well, I'll take it 2 ways. Women especially have to govern themselves and kind of orient themselves based on what their perception is going to be. And the fear and the threat of being labeled a whore is really strong in the shaping of women's identity. And not even just women, people's identity. And, you know, in order to get what the fuck you want, in order to just kind of live a healthy sexual life, you got to just kind of put it all out there and not be guided. And this isn't just for like relationships, this is in general. This is like a general thing. Like, you have to live the life that you want and not be guided by the fear of what others are going to say about you. Because like Mama RuPaul says, your opinion of me is not my business.
I thought you were gonna say, if you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else?
No, your opinion of me is not my business, right? So how I live my life is how I live my life, and I have to live my life according to how I want to live my life in all ways. And the more we let people and their perceptions and their viewpoints impose onto us how they think we should live our life, then that doesn't enable us to live a fully authentic, expressed life, which is what we all strive to do. So yeah, that was that. And that was really fun banter. And Tamika sounded really good on the mic.
She sounds so sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was when we talked about pussy knowledge.
You know, the other thing about that is, Kamar, you really showed your true colors about how traditional you are and how judgy you are, too.
Surprise, yeah. I'm not a fan of hoes. I don't like them. Only behind closed doors. We will not be holding hands in public.
Okay, I'm gonna save that for later. I gotta always save all my attacks for you when I get ready to attack you.
No, but on some real shit, I think the one thing I can honestly say about a hoe that I love, I like the fact that there is an unapologetic nature to them. You have to really be free in order to just be a hoe in public and not be ashamed of it.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? And I could appreciate that. And if a lot of people were truthful with themselves, they'll realize that they kind of hoish too. Or want to be.
Well, they want to be.
They want to be.
How often do you want to be a hoe, but the fear of being labeled one makes you not behave that way?
Child, it's just like
it's not thinking. It's not like actually owning that. You know what? That's not a behavior that I want to engage in. It's I don't want to be seen that way.
I want to be seen that way.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. So yeah, that's why I love hoes. Oh my god. So remember I told you I wanted to interview a sex worker?
Yeah.
So I finally met her yesterday. Met her in real life.
Oh.
And we had the chat of chats. We're gonna have a really more in-depth interview for next season and later on. But she was so candid about her work as a fucking streetwalker. She went from being a streetwalker to being an escort to being in, on the streets, to being in various cities, to being in the hotels. She was talking about the game like in a way that I was like, oh my God, like if I have my way, together me and her can produce like the next Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
Damn.
Or Hookers at the Point, because the candid nature of our conversation was just so real and raw. And we don't take the time to get into the mind of a real sex worker. It's real work. And it takes a certain kind of person to engage in that kind of work and be able to like still live with himself the next day. It was so good. I cannot wait.
I wonder what her pussy like.
Well, we'll certainly ask her.
Like, is it still tight? Inquiring minds want to know.
I know,
but
right?
if it gets loose, then you're out of business. So
Not necessarily.
some people like a little. Okay, come
See?
on, move on.
All right, moving on to the next show was episode 3 was I'm not responsible for your feelings. Which so here the thing is this was growth for me.
Mm-hmm.
The growth is my original take on this was that whatever it is that you're reacting to ain't my business. I don't care what I did or said to you. The way that you choose to react, the way you choose to feel, is totally on you for you to manage and deal with and have nothing to do with it. Which was so irresponsible of me.
Very selfish.
Very selfish, very self-centered, very arrogant, which is who the fuck I have been, you know? And I fully own who I have been. But what shifted in that is, I'm gonna throw something at you. What shifted in that thinking is coming to is being present to the impact that I have on people. And I'm gonna put it about me because this is a topic that I was really passionate about. We all have an impact on people. We all impact everybody around us in various ways. And so knowing that you have an impact on people, whether you want to or not, then there is a certain kind of responsibility in being a certain kind of way, and being yourself, and being authentic. And so it is important for me to make sure that I'm leading with kindness, that I'm mindful of how my words might impact somebody, and be able to deal with and stand in whatever the fallout is of whatever I did or said. I still hold that your reaction, that your feelings about that are still based on the sum total of your own life experiences, and I can't help that. So whatever it is that you're reacting to is more than likely you're reacting to whatever is that happened to you already that is triggered by what I said, and not exactly what I said. And I still hold true to that. So I'm responsible for the impact that I have on you, but I'm not responsible for your actual feelings.
You know, I remember this episode we talked about how that I can't make you feel idea. And I think sometimes you can make a person feel something.
I can't make you feel happy.
I know
that's something you got to do on your own.
Sometimes you can make. I believe you can make a person feel something. Everything you do has a like a cause and effect type thing with it. And sometimes when you do something, the effect is whatever that person ends up feeling. Yes, that feeling is driven and shaped by their life and who they are and their experiences, but what you did led to this feeling. You were the trigger. You pulled the switch or whatever, however you want to pull it.
I have an impact.
You have an impact.
Yeah.
But I just always remember, you know, we talked about our aunt in that show, and she'd always say, "I can't make you feel. I can't make you feel," and it seemed like such a powerful thing for her to be able to say. But I think a lot of people use that as a way to deflect.
It's a scapegoat.
Yeah.
To not be responsible for what the fuck you just what you just did, to make you not responsible for how you just impacted somebody. Moving on after that was our Back to You Redux, our New Year's episode, which is really about forecasting and about really taking stock on the year behind you, which can happen really at any time of the year. But it's about taking stock of your life at any moment that you choose to.
It's such an important thing to do.
It is. You periodically have to reflect on what the fuck you've done and give credit to yourself for the growth that you've had, or did it.
And just own your shit.
You have to own your shit, and I'm really that's a really important thing for me. You know, going about this show, I get sometimes caught up in my goals down the line without being mindful of like what's happened like so far. This was an idea of a blog a couple of years ago. It was a thought in my mind that I never executed. And then the opportunity presented itself, and it's been shaping and growing and snowballing, and now it's not only a podcast, but we have a line of merchandise. We have, it's a thing, and our show is so well produced because we put our hearts and souls in it. We've thought about it. And that's not an easy feat to create a quality product and then have the product spark more products. So I'm really proud about that.
Pat yourself on the back, bro.
It's about, yes, it's about celebrating and standing in the victories, but not being stuck in the victories, not being stuck in that moment. All right, I reflected on what I've done, reflected on this, that, and the third, and now I'm here given all that, what's next?
You know, a lot of times we can beat ourselves up because we want something and we want it to look a certain way. And other times we can know what we want and be like, oh, I can't do it like the way I want it, so I'm not going to do it at all. And you end up just like stuck in a place as opposed to just launching it and doing the best you can then and getting to the place where you want to be. So that episode, I remember thinking about my own time. My witchy time is usually at the full moon. I think about, you know, where I've come from and what my past, what's happened from the last time I had a moment to reflect to this time. And also it's a time for manifestation too. Like I think about what I want to do and how I want to go, and I try to envision it. And that's one thing that stuck out about that episode for me. It was about not only reflecting, but also manifesting and envisioning what you want for your future. Or in that case, we were talking about what you want for your year. And then, you know, sometime midway through, you might want to take stock and look back at that time and be like, okay, how am I doing with those goals? You know, am I on that track that I set out in the beginning, or am I just like way off?
You know what just came to me to really like sum up that episode is there's no movement without action.
Yeah.
And that's really it. There's no movement without action. Point blank. Moving on. Then we went on to Live and Let Die. Which was, you know, that was a deeply personal episode when we really bore our souls. And what I really realized is how much I disconnect from my feelings, from my emotions.
Yeah.
And I can chalk it up to me being an Aquarius, a whole bunch of things, but for my own survival in my life, because of the amount of death that I've dealt with in my life, I have developed barriers that I'm not even present to anymore. And it wasn't until going through that episode and preparing for it and going to that funeral and recalling the emotions of being at funerals and recalling the emotions of my mother dying and recalling the emotions of whoever else in my family of people who died, is I'm like, wow, I have really developed these protection mechanisms to not be pained or to not feel these things. And I never realized it until really like going through that episode. But also what was really present to me was when I said, you know, what do we react to with regard to death? Is it that we're reacting to the actual act of dying? Is it that we're reacting to that the person died? Are we reacting to what is so? What is so is that they died. Is that the reaction? Or is it everything else that we've made mean about die? Is it the loss? Is it the memories that are all
or that big old void that you're gonna have in your life.
That person's not there anymore. That now you're looking down and liking, you're like, all the memories that can't be formed because the person isn't here anymore. And either way, you know, it's about being present to what you're reacting to and reacting to it and feeling it and stepping in it and sitting in it and living in it and experiencing it, because only then can you move on from it.
So is that really something that a person like you can change? The idea of being able to come from a place where you're numb and you put barriers up to not feel. Can you come back from that?
I think so. I think I've been coming from it. Because I'm present to that, I put up barriers. I've been able to look at them, step aside them, or step over them, and feel something. And I do, you know, I don't know if I talked about it in that episode, but when I broke up with my ex 3 years ago, I really felt that. Like I let myself feel it. I do not cry. I do not cry. I'm not a crier unless I'm watching a movie or something. But I was really present to my emotions and my feelings, and you can't process what you don't own. You can't do anything with something that you don't own. That's right. So that's a physical thing, then I have no power over a possession that's not mine, including my feelings and emotions. And so it's important to feel what it is that you feel in order for you to move on. Isam and I were talking the other day about
He was on the show last week.
Yeah, it was so good. But one thing that he said is, I had interviewed him for something, and I had asked him what my weaknesses are, and one of the things that he said is that you don't come from your emotions, and that stance like denies you an amount of feeling something or experiencing a part of life. And I was like, well then bring that to my attention. Help me with that then. But with that being said, like I can't move on from something if I don't feel it, or else I'll be stuck in it. If I keep avoiding it, then I never experience it, then I never move on from it. So that was a key takeaway that I got from that episode, which was like really like bearing my guts.
Ooh, it was so personal.
We did some hot topics and it was fun. I really like that we introduced the hot topics episodes in this season because Kamar and I both love popular culture, and so I like to have a smattering of it in the show. Like there's so many podcasts that are all about hot topics every week. So and we like them, right? But this show is different in that. Yeah. However, we're still people that like live and like read Radar Online and be Scott with the tea too. So we still have our own unique take on spilling the tea. So a little smattering of those was really fun. And then we bore our souls some more.
Right, we got right back to it.
Our family dynamics, which is when I never thought that I would admit on air that I don't have a bond with our little sister.
That was profound. I could not believe you said it out loud.
Yeah, but it's my truth.
And you didn't feel bad about it?
I don't feel bad about it.
I felt like you should have.
I still don't feel bad about it. It's my truth. It's my truth. And I still haven't felt compelled to change it. It's still something that's not there. And I don't think it's right, I don't think it's wrong. It's just what it is. And until something happens, or until I feel differently, or until whatever is the universe puts in my path that makes me adjust the way I think about it, that's just the way it is.
Well, that episode was fun because we talked about our own family makeup, and like a lot of you guys, our family isn't as traditional as we think families are. The dynamics are a little messy, but whose family isn't messy,
I know, right?
And we talked about the idea like it's blood thicker than water, and yeah, that's the short answer.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's about connection, it's about relationship, it's about shared experiences, and that's what links us. And that's why for me, some of my friends if I had people in my family that if I never saw again, I wouldn't care. But there are friends I have that if I never saw them again, I would die.
Your friends, gotta be your friends.
Ooh, when I first heard that song, I literally, the first time I heard that song by Beyonce and Jay-Z from that album, I literally cried. Like, my eyes literally welled up because that song so encompassed the way that I look at my friends and the import that I put on those people in my life.
Seriously, you always, ever since you were a damn teenager, always running after some friend. Always.
Oh, so I guess I struck a nerve.
I'm just saying, ain't got time for nothing else but your damn friends. Moving on.
And then we went in. Then we the next episode of that was Get Out of Your Way.
Oh, I love that episode. That was one of my favorites actually.
Yeah.
This season.
Yeah. How often do we get in our own way and don't realize it?
Yeah.
And then even if we realize it, we still stay in our own way.
And a part of it can be those barriers that you were talking about before.
Yeah.
You put up those barriers to protect yourself, and then you look up and you're in a fucking fortress. You're like, oh shit, I didn't want to be blocked off from everything. You can't get around it, but it's supposed to be your protection.
Yeah.
And it's good to really evaluate those barriers and see, is this thing protecting me or is it hindering me from something?
In prepping for this show, I listened to like pretty much the whole season.
Yeah.
But not that one.
Why you skip it?
I don't know. I just didn't get to it. I thought that I remembered more of it than I did. But I do know how I feel about getting in your own way. And I know for me, I went to the Landmark Forum. Kamar likes to call it a cult because he likes to just be a fucking asshole, right?
I actually made reference to it, but I was like, I'm not going to connect the word cult with Landmark, so that's why I just said cult earlier, but I'm glad you
some
cult.
Folks go through the Landmark
Forum. Come out change. They come out and they want to get divorces. They come out, they want to kick people out.
Some folks do momentum, but those are two different platforms of way of thinking that, you know, I found frees you and
Yeah.
allows and gives you some of the tools that can help you get out of your way. I was at a point last year when I was like, I need some executive coaching. I feel like I'm like at a plateau, like I'm stunted. And that given what I knew, given all the pool of information that I had about myself and my life, I didn't know what else to do. So sometimes you gotta step outside of yourself and be open to receiving a new way.
Yeah.
Be open to going down a path that is uncomfortable and unfamiliar. But that's the way to step outside, over and around yourself in order to move forward in whatever it is that you're trying to do in your life. And it's been incredibly powerful for me.
Well, as the co-producer of this show, what we're not going to do is give them a free commercial. So they gotta pay to get those advertisements. But I will. But you said that quite eloquently. But for Landmark and others like it.
And if it does, whatever it is that you do,
Right,
whether
right.
it's Tony Robbins, whether it's a book that you read, whether it is, you know, whatever it is that comes into your life and that sparks a different way of thinking, then it's worth it. If there's a person in your life that's living in a certain kind of way that you admire and you're like, wow, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Then have a coffee with that person and
Right.
talk to them. Because we get tidbits of information from the world around us. The universe is always communicating with us. The universe is always conspiring to give us what we want. And so if you're at a point in your life when you're asking the universe for whatever it is, the universe is listening and trying to put it in your face, but you gotta be welcome to receive, but you gotta be open and receiving what it is that the universe is putting in your way, in your face.
What? It's so funny that you said that, because what Landmark is for you, the book, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn, that's that for me. And it was so transformational when I actually read the book. And it was like basically the universe is really conspiring to give you exactly what you think about the most. Exactly where your energy is, that's what the universe is working to deliver for you.
What's it called?
Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting.
Okay.
It's by Lynn Grabhorn. It's really good. So, yeah, whatever it is, you gotta have some type of executive coaching. Maybe it's where you use, but for me, it's like it could just be like you said, a mentor, somebody that you just see. Yo, this person has the tools that I want to have. I don't know how they got them. I want to get there. Or you can do like I do, and you can pick a mentor, don't tell them, and just stalk them. And just do everything they do, low key. Yeah, so Robin Roberts, I'm watching you.
All right. Then we went on to episode Live Good.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, that's my life. That right there was a snapshot into how the fuck I live my life and why I live my life the way I do. There was this movie by Spike Lee called She Like Me. No, not She Like Me. That's another. It was called. Oh my God, what was it called? It was like Kerry Washington.
Oh, I did see that movie.
And
Kerry
Anthony
Washington
Mackie.
was really young at the time.
Anthony Mackie.
All right, but anyway.
Whatever it was, but the a character in it said that every man deserves to give his family a modicum of luxury.
Ooh.
And that stuck with me in a major kind of way. That movie came out in like 04, 05. What the fuck is that movie called? I have to Google it.
I actually didn't know what you were talking about.
God.
It is important to really treat yourself to whatever it is you think you should have. If you can't have that particular, treat yourself to a portion.
She Hate
of
Me.
it.
She Hate Me. It was called She Hate Me.
Kerry Washington was in a Spike Lee joint?
Yes. She played a lesbian. You have to watch it. Anyway, so from that,
Was that the one where they were trying to like have a baby or something like that?
He had lots of babies, and that's his lesbian. This guy was getting a bunch of lesbians pregnant because he was just like slanging sperm.
Yes.
So yes, it was hilarious. But anyway,
moving on.
What it is about that is we tend to save the luxury for a special occasion. We save that outfit for a special occasion. We save that dinner for a special occasion.
That China.
We save that China for a special occasion. We save that buying that one thing for
Got
a
your
special
couch
occasion.
covered up because you don't want to let people sit on it.
So why
Use it.
wait for a special occasion?
Yeah.
Your life is a special occasion. And I believe in enriching the quality of my life by incorporating some modicum of luxury every day. So for me, the little things are, I do not eat off paper plates or plastic forks in my house unless I am hosting a barbecue. And that's only if I have more than 10 people. 10 people or less, we're all eating out of real plates. Because that for me is comfort, is luxury. When I go to a restaurant, don't serve me no motherfucking food on a paper plate in a restaurant.
Wait, what restaurant would ever do that?
A hood one.
Huh?
No, but I'm saying, but like, we go to restaurants for a little bit of luxury, to be pampered, to be treated, to have food brought to us, to eat good food. So I eat good food all the time. I have a luxury like meals that I make for myself all the time, because why not? Why save a delicious platter of oysters with champagne for a special occasion? Why not have that on a Wednesday?
Because it lacks the meaning. People put meaning into those special occasions.
You do.
And the good experience makes it stand out even more for them.
You can still have that, but I believe in treating myself really well all the time. Yeah. I'm not gonna wear a tuxedo to record this show. I'm gonna save my tuxedo for the appropriate event. But I'm gonna make myself a nice stiff cocktail at home in a real glass with good ingredients at home.
You know
and not
what?
just go out with it.
Actually, I can tell you one thing that I did this week that was it reflected that.
What?
I manscaped for the first time in a very long time, years, and I got that shit all nice and smooth, and I put on a little lingerie, not lingerie, but like the good draws, not the ones that are all big and baggy and shit. I put on my good draws, and I oiled up with some hot six.
This is making me very uncomfortable.
And I put on a little cologne, and then I got in my bed by myself.
You know what? Okay, you wear underwear to bed?
Usually, yeah. I don't like to sleep in nothing.
My dick has to breathe at night. Oh my god.
Unless I'm hot.
I can't.
Yeah, I put on my little thongs and shit.
Ain't a thong at that? You got something to crack in your ass, and your dick is bound up?
It was.
Oh hell no.
It was all for the for the experience of it all.
Well, after all that luxury that we just talked about, then we went into the next episode, which was No Kids, No Way, which was so interesting to talk about. We had another guest, my best friend Shisa.
Oh, that was a good
one of my best ones, when we really talked about like the choice to not have children, and how we're so groomed and programmed to live, grow up, meet a mate, get married, have children, raise the children leave, then you die. And for some people, that's a fine existence. But for a lot of us, the idea of having children is daunting, or just icky, or just not probable. For me, I am so clear that I was not put on this earth to procreate. That is not what I'm here to bring to the table. My impact on the world is not through my lineage. My impact to the world is through my lovely, big, bubbly personality.
Oh, I didn't know where we were going with that.
My personality, what I bring to the table, and how I impact those that I come in contact with. I know that I leave an impression on people that is indelible, and I own that, and I'm proud of that, and that's what I think I'm here for. That's what I offer. That's what I offer the world around me. And what I love, what Chiza had to say, is how much she has been lambasted by people, friends, family, and everybody in between about her choice not to have kids. Not all of us have that gene.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I got to attack my little brother because of his egotistical reasons of wanting to have kids, to keep his name going, or to have somebody who looks like him,
for the legacy.
That's not a reason to have kids.
And I want a little goober. It's so tiny. Put his little butt in the palm of my hand and just hold him. Can't wait. But on the real note, I do think it's fun to go through life, learn shit, do shit, and then try to depart some type of wisdom on your offspring. Of course, you can get a mentee or something like that, but what does it really mean to depart wisdom on somebody? To really go each day like, yo, I'm trying to put you in the best direction possible.
If that's what your life is to do, then great.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to make the choice. You have to choose.
You do.
You have to want to be a parent. And, once you are a parent, you have to be a fucking great parent.
Yeah.
Or get a child up. Like, there's enough fucked up kids in this world because of our crazy ass parents. And I think that people don't take the responsibility of being conscious about that choice. They do it out of obligation or because of society, and then we have a whole generation of fucked up kids.
Yeah. And the people are just going through the motions, and they're just
Yeah.
kind of like doing what's expected of them. But a lot of people don't take parenting serious.
Yeah, and I think that's a disservice to the generations out here. It's a disservice to people. So then
That one was called No Kids, No Way.
No kids, no way. Hell no. Then we went in. We had another guest, Ashley Nicole, leverage your influence, and she was a social media influencer, a social media strategist,
Yes.
and dropped some great gems for us to share about using social media to further your brand, the strategy behind social media. Like I said in the show, and even now, I'm good at using it for just personal, sharing what I'm doing, my Instagram stories, posting a couple pictures about here and there, sharing like my life casually. But what I have not gotten good at yet is using social media for a purpose, right? So I have not been the best at being really good about social media, about the Healer's Guide to Life podcast, our line. I'm sporadic about it, but but my mind hasn't shifted to the business mindset of social media. So I need a bit more training. I can give her a call back because I think we need her.
Yeah, she's good, and it really spoke to one of the overarching themes of this season, which was entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And to really be business minded about everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you do should have a business component to it. If you're having fun, there's no reason why you can't be getting paid to have fun.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
We had a lot of guests this season.
I think it's a little bit of foreshadowing into where the show is
Yeah.
gonna ultimately end up.
Our guests brought such great stuff to the table. After we had Ashley, the following week we had Rose Mosley.
Yes.
Talking about building wealth. And Rose, oh my God, I'm a rosebud now. I'm totally a rosebud.
I love rosebuds. I really do. They're
Rose, like Ashley, dropped such gems about the area in which she's an expert. So real estate. And she really drove home how plausible it is to own property.
Yeah. Get you a multifamily.
And to not just own property just to have your own American dream, but to have home ownership as a basis of building wealth.
That's right.
As a way to invest. And it's not as hard as we make it out to be. And there's so many resources out there that we can use to build our wealth through home ownership.
Yeah.
And that was an episode that is a easy reference to like go back to and listen to and kind of like dig into. It is a resource.
I need a few seconds for this one because that really it changed me after that. You have a lot of people, especially black folks, and they get a house and they're working and everything they have goes to keeping that house going.
Yeah.
And they end up being house poor. And it's like, what's the point of having all this space, but you can't really enjoy it because everything you do is going into that house?
Yeah.
The other thing that Rose spoke about was she wanted to make sure that you're not just buying property to live in it, you're buying it so it can make money for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have that piece of land and you renting part of it out, you live in the other part. So that was very, very, very transformational.
Yeah, it was. So I urge, in fact, that's an episode that I have to actually refer to again on my own. After that, we had another guest on, Katrina, to indulge Kamar, to indulge our interest in the occult.
Always a witch.
But we spend a lot of our lives being exposed to the occult, being exposed to the invisible world, and have a person that's an actual practitioner of a folk tradition or two that was very insightful. That's another episode that I want to do more about that, exploring more of that part of our nature. But yeah, that was a cool one.
And once again, you have a person who's making a living off of something that they enjoy doing.
Back to the theme of entrepreneurship.
I love it because she has a whole business.
And then we got into communication breakdown. You know, another episode where we bore our souls about experiences with our friends, and I emphasize how much friends are important to me, and I'm just very much about relationships in my life, and I hold them to such high esteem. And so looking at the ways that we communicate with each other is really important, and we don't realize how people don't understand how important it is to communicate, and to communicate without fear of, you know, damaging a friendship. If you communicate something and it damages a friendship, then either the friendship has a poor foundation, or it's a friendship that was already fractured, and that just confirmed that it's time to break. But I was really into that one. I'm kind of dealing with that again now. A friend that I really think that friendship is fractured in a way that is not worthy of repair, and I'm okay with that.
I always say that when it comes to your feelings, if your feelings or something you love, or if anything about you that's a core part of you, if it messes up a friendship, or if it like pushes someone away, that person wasn't meant to be there.
You know, I'll talk about it all the time. No new friends, because friendship.
That person is kind of a new friend.
Friendship is supposed to be easy and effortless. You know, I believe that all relationships are supposed to be easy and effortless. And if they're not, then I call into question if that's a relationship that needs to be in my life, because easy and effortless is the way it is. And that goes with family too. If I don't easily and effortlessly get along with you, then I'm not trying to be around you.
I got some family that we just can't vibe like that.
Yeah.
We from the same tribe, but we're not from the same tribe.
That's it. And so then the kind of tail end of the show was Kamar and I really being gay. Totally it. And then we had Gay Boy Joy, which was inspired by the death of Nigel Shelby.
Yeah.
And then that kind of made Kamar and I talk about our coming out stories, and we shared about, you know, our own personal experiences with coming out, and how that unfolded, how living in our families affected us differently. And I think in that show I referenced me and Kamar came from the same family and had different experiences. We actually did not. I want to kind of clarify. Actually, Hadid, my brother, listen, he was like, y'all didn't come from the same family. Y'all came up in different families, and there is overlap. But he's right. You grew up with pretty much a lot of your life on in the Weequay section in the South Ward, with your mom's side.
In the South Ward.
That is the South Ward, Kamar.
That's not the South Ward.
That is the South Ward, Kamar.
It borderlines Elizabeth.
It's so it borderlines Elizabeth, but it's in Newark, in the South Ward of Newark. Dayton Avenue is the South Ward.
The South Ward is dirty.
That's where the fuck you grew up at, dirty motherfucker. So as I was saying, boy, I don't want to own his fucking upbringing, dirty motherfucker.
We lived in a house
in the South Ward.
Anyway, but I don't know. I think Hadid's wrong. But we can talk about that offline.
I think Hadid has a point.
The part of our father's side of the family is what anchored us, and I was very much involved in our father's side, and you were only basically involved in your father's side. I didn't know your mother's family like that. I didn't really see them around.
But I did.
Right. So for us, the overlap was the daddy side. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a family home to go to, you know?
Ooh!
What? I'm just saying.
Ooh!
There was a place where folks would come together and commune.
I love the shade you're throwing. It's so good. He even has on his shades as he's throwing the shade.
Yeah.
The shade is real. And then you know, the last 2 episodes was our Ask a Gay series, which I just say,
it needs to be a real series.
It needs to be a show in and of itself, right?
You guys came with some good questions. Y'all did not hold back.
But it goes to show that so many people have questions about gay sex, because how much of our questions were like sexual in nature, about the physicality of it, about the dynamics of it, about the really how it goes down, how it's negotiated. But I'm glad. I hope those episodes get out there, because we answered the questions in the most real way possible that people, want to hear. People have genuine curiosity. Next season, we're going to have an episode about asking a lesbian, because I got a litany of questions about lesbians because I don't understand.
I don't got no questions.
And it's so funny that us two gay men can't understand lesbians.
Because it's so separate.
It's not. I mean, it is what it really isn't.
And it's like, it's different. But what I do like about these episodes is that we're putting a subculture into the main culture. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about gay stuff, and it's like, it's just life. It is
life.
Gay life.
It's
you
life.
Know what I'm saying?
It's life. This is the Heathen's Guide to Life.
Right.
This is two heathens giving their take on life as it is and as we see it.
Yeah.
And the gays are here to stay.
The gays ain't going nowhere.
But I love that we got, although most of the questions came from women, there were some questions that came from men. They were serious questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that, and I'm glad. I'm still trying to get my brother to listen to it. I wonder if he will. It's funny.
I mean,
actually,
what
you know
does he
what?
have to learn?
No, actually, no. I warned him. I said, I don't know, Hadid. I don't know if you're ready.
Has he been listening to the other episodes?
He has.
Really?
He listened to a couple of them.
Thank you.
He actually really enjoyed them. I
What?
think he listened to the family one. He was into that. He listened to I think Gay Boy Joy.
Nice. What do you think about that one?
I don't remember what he said.
Okay.
And
What's up, Heidi?
my sister-in-law listened to the Ask Gay series yesterday,
what
and she was in stitches. Everybody who's giving feedback were in stitches about the candor and the banter of those episodes. So that was our season, guys. Like that was it. And what's gonna happen for next season? You have to keep connected with us and find out. Make sure that you get on the mailing list at the Heathen's Guide to Life. I'm sorry.
Y'all not gonna be ready. I'm just gonna say that right now.
theheathensguide.com. But we are interested in knowing and hearing what you want to hear more from us. What other parts of life do you want Kamar and I to talk about, to explore, to delve into, to lend our thoughts and opinions to?
I want to bring in more experts to talk about why we think the way we think. I want to do more video stuff.
More video stuff too. I just want to bring in more people. I am fascinated. I am fascinated by the human experience. I'm fascinated by people in their lives. And so I have a genuine curiosity about people in their lives. So I want to talk to people out, I want to bring in the sex worker. I want to talk to a sex worker about the life of a sex worker.
I want to bring in a porn star.
I would love to bring in a porn star. Hey, I'm down for that too. No, because then your body will fucking try to want to.
No, I won't do that. I will be very professional. I will put in my sociologist hat, and I will be inquisitive.
No, I'm just be in his business, all of it. But I want to bring in, I said before, but I didn't get to it this season. I want to interview a person with a trans experience, a trans man or a trans woman, because I want to understand the life through the eyes of a trans person. Especially given that I don't understand everything. For a story that I did this week, I spoke to a transgender person, and what she told me was the reason why trans women keep dying is because we have men who would rather kill than admit the fact that they're into a trans person. Yes.
And I was like, what, why do you think that is? She said a lot of it goes into the stigma.
Yep.
And the biggest part is that people don't understand that trans women see themselves as women. Not trans women.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people who are into them as women, not because they're trans.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make you gay because you want to date a trans woman. You're just dating a woman who has a different type of past.
But you know what that tells me? It tells me that for a lot of men that their masculinity isn't founded on a core foundation.
Yeah.
Because if you feel that threatened, because you're gonna only kill if you feel that threatened, right? And so if your masculinity is that threatened because you are attracted to a trans woman, then it calls into question the whole entirety of your masculinity.
Seriously.
Which is so worth exploring.
Right. I would highly suggest you guys look me up on Facebook for you who follow me and read that piece. It's very informative.
You're really coming out. Good for that.
Comes with the territory.
So with that being said, that's the end. That is the end of this particular segment. We're gonna, of course, talk some shit. But this has been season 2 of The Heathens Got to Life, and so now let's talk some shit. This is the time of the show where Kamar and I talk about the shit that grinds our gears. And I'm gonna start with talking shit about Kamar.
You know what?
Because
I had my lips pursed. I was ready for that.
Because when in doubt, I can always talk shit about Kamar.
Hit me, bitch.
I have nothing to say about you, actually. I'm gonna talk shit about Scorpios, though. So I'm not talking
that
about
is
shit.
definitely about me.
I'm gonna talk shit about Scorpios because some of the most dearest people in my life are Scorpios. Y'all are some, and you know what? I'm gonna sum up Scorpio in a couple of words: wild, savage beasts.
Damn, that sounds like me. I can't even come back from that.
Yeah. I mean, my best friend Toya is a Scorpio. My sister Tahira is a Scorpio. Kamar is a Scorpio. I have so many friends that are Scorpios, and there's things I have in common.
Just run through motherfuckers.
It really is. You know what it is? The ones that I know intimately, there's a selfish nature about Scorpios, and you know what? It's emotionally selfish because they're all very giving.
They're very giving.
Very giving in general, but emotionally selfish.
Yes. Because we're so busy giving. We gotta hold something for ourselves.
Selfish. And the things that you do in the course of being selfish about your emotions was why I call you wild, selfish beasts.
And don't get me started on the secrets.
Ooh,
baby.
Baby. So that's what I gotta talk shit about first.
Yeah, well, I want to flip that and talk shit about Aquarius. How about that?
Yeah.
Y'all are some of the coldest people ever. And it's something about that whole thing about erecting barriers to protect yourself. It's like, it makes you guys so out of touch with every fucking thing.
You know what's funny? That somebody who's emotionally selfish has an issue with the person that has control of their emotions.
Because all I want is your feelings. I'm like, give. And Corey's like, no, I don't have any more to give. No. And I'm like, I want them. I want to know what you're feeling. I want you to be in tune with that.
Anybody who's like me, I will give you what my emotions are. They're just going to be filtered through logic.
They're going to be some fucking watered down versions.
No, it's just that I really have it that my emotions don't run the show. Now, when I feel something, I feel it and I'm on it. But I don't react from my feelings. Feelings are not based in anything tangible and real.
When you say that enough, what you get is a robot.
Ooh.
Okay.
Call me Vulcan then. All right. I'll be Voltron.
Actually, that's not what I want to talk shit about. Though. My real talking shit for today is I want to talk shit about people, particularly men, who get on Instagram and just thirst trap all fucking day.
I love
every picture is a thirst trap, and it's just like, find something else to do.
Yeah.
It's like you need attention that bad, boo.
But it I think that, again, on social media, we tend to have identities. And some people, that's just what it is that they want to do. They want to put their bodies out there. They worked hard at it. That's what their feature is. That's what they have to offer. And so that's what they put out there.
You know what? That's one thing. I'm talking about these regular ass motherfuckers that are out there trying to thirst trap. You know what I'm saying? Like you go on vacation and you're like, all right, look at me in my little sequin outfit or my little sheer. You know what I'm saying? Look at me in my beer gut. Out free, and I'm like, wow, like who are you baiting? Like who's out here looking for that? Honestly, you know what I'm saying? I got a little stomach, but that shit is covered. I'm not putting it out there for the world to see. And the people who they attract are always thirstier than they are.
Yeah, like attracts like.
Right. So I just had to talk about that. Like, stop thirst trapping. If you want attention, I don't know, fucking love yourself better. Masturbate. I don't know.
I don't have anything else to talk shit about.
I have one more, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
People who walk down the street with their phones on speakerphone.
Oh, my God.
Why are you so stupid? Why are you doing that?
People have no regard for the world around them.
I don't understand it.
It's so dumb.
Now, back in the day, when you had the Boost Mobile and the chirps... Rip it up.
I was always too good for those phones.
Me too. I never had one.
I was always too
I never
good.
had one. But I had friends and they had Nextel. Now you got Boost and then you had Nextel. Now Nextel phones were really nice.
Oh, I was too good for those.
They were, you couldn't afford them probably. Nextel phones were, bitch. If you had a Nextel, you was doing something. Look, our engineer know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, that's our time together. We hope to not only entertain you, but to provide you with some new or different perspective about the various topics we discuss. Join the conversation and share your thoughts on actually the entire season.
Yeah. Before we wrap up this show, I just have to get a little sappy with my big brother.
No.
And I want to say, I think I said this at the end of last season. Just thank you for sharing a piece of your dream with this little black boy from Newark. You know, I never thought a person as selfish as you could be so selfless.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
fantastic.
you. And also, please look us up on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, just give us a search for it, The Heathen's Guide to Life. And on Instagram, it's at Heathen's Guide, no apostrophe S.
Make sure you go to our website, theheathensguide.com, and sign up for the mailing list. Check out the archive of all of our shows and buy some Heathen merchandise. Also, look us up on SoundCloud, Mixcloud, iTunes, and Stitcher, and subscribe. Leave a comment and share with your friends. Tune in next season for season 3 of The Heathen's Guide to Life. I am Kitab.
I'm Kayla Shawn.
For Kamar, we thank you for listening. What'd you say, Kamar?
I was saying who I am.
Well, you are. There you go.
You just talked over me.
Oh, because what I do. Talk to you next.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, shit.
I can't with you.
Yeah, that's how you end the season.
That's how you do it, right?
Just slap it.
I would.